Listen, don't be offended, guys, but I'm not going to be talking to you. I got to talk to him. Sorry. I've just been given orders. We are starting when? Now? Okay, good. Welcome to the pre-conference Logos Bible software presentation. We are live streaming from Fort Lauderdale, sunny Fort Lauderdale, at the Liberate conference hosted by Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church. I'm Tullian Chivijan, pastor at Coral Ridge, and I am excited for you to be a part of this pre-conference presentation. Liberate is not only a conference that we are starting today and we are hosting, but it's also it's a mission. We hope that it becomes a catalytic platform for serious thinking about a more radical gospel. And so we have people coming in from all over the country to talk about the radicality of God's grace and the hilarious freedom that comes with it. And we are delighted to partner with Logos Bible software. Logos, as many of you know, is the most advanced Bible study tool available today. It is a huge help to preachers and teachers, as you're going to see in just a few moments. And Logos has not only established a strategic relationship with Liberate, but it has also established a strategic relationship with Knox Theological Seminary, which is the seminary that is owned and governed by Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church. And so we are good friends with Logos. We are big fans of Logos, and you're going to be hearing more about that in a few minutes. I want to introduce to you my friend, Kendell Stellfox, who is the Director for Ministry Development of Logos Bible Software, and we really, really hope that you enjoy this seminar.
Thank you. How's everybody doing? Good to hear. Good. It's very exciting to do our first ever live stream here on the web. And just want to spend a moment. I just got a text message from my good friend in Bellingham that the live stream is a little behind schedule. So I wanted to procrastinate for a moment and get everything kind of squared away and make sure that we're on the same page here from that perspective. But for those of you that are sitting here, I'm very happy to have the opportunity to share with you Logos Bible software and how this tool has personally changed the way I interact with God's Word. A little background on myself. I have a technology degree, spent years in the business world, 7 years helping some friends. I was kind of a software consultant, and then left that world and moved down here to South Florida and attended Knox Theological Seminary right across the street. And the way that I was able to pass any class was because I had a specific tool from a technology perspective that would allow me to search for information faster, be more efficient with my time, and also take the shortcuts when it came to finding information, when it came to looking for stuff, writing papers, and then obviously the Greek and Hebrew, which Dr. Sam Lamerson is going to bless us with this afternoon. So what I have the opportunity to do here is to share with you kind of the vision of the understanding of how this platform really works. The big hurdle that I think most of us face going from the paper world to the digital world is, how do I make that transition? What is a digital library? And I get the opportunity, I've been doing it for 5 years, moved from Fort Lauderdale here, working at the church and at the seminary and also Coral Ridge Ministries, left that and took a job with Logos Bible Software, and I get to travel the country showing people this amazing tool. And I get to teach them on what this can do for their personal Bible study. And I've been using it for 10 years, so I know enough to be dangerous, and my technology background really does help. So I want to start out with helping you understand what it means to have a theological library on your computer. And I have a slide up here for us that it's a shortened down version of a blog that one of our founders created. And he came up with this concept of the network effect. And what he's saying here is that basically when you have a Logos library, is it takes all of those books and lumps them together. You're creating basically a database of theology. I use the phrase Google for Bible study to make it really, really simple. And so what Logos does is we don't just scan a book, we actually build a book. And when we say we build a book, we put a lot of additional information into that library so that you can find a passage, a word, a topic, a phrase. You can find things that are related or associated to what you're studying. And at the end of the day, that is the tremendous value that Logos has brought to me personally, is that I don't have to know everything. I can know how to use a tool and be able to use and get into more information because of all this hard work that Logos has done on the back end. From a technical perspective, it's called metadata. From a simple perspective, it's just human intelligence. So if you take the word like Jesus, our Savior, and you say, what are things related or associated to that word? What do we, as human beings, we naturally gravitate to things that are associated to it. Father, Son, virgin birth, all these things that are related. But a computer doesn't know that. We have to tell it. And that's, at the end of the day, having a theological library on your computer, that's what happens, is that metadata, that human intelligence starts popping out of your library in this network effect. And Dale Pritchett uses the Metcalfe's law here to say 2 books equal actually 4 books. And 4 books actually equal 16 books because of that integration, that interwovingness of those books and that information. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to jump over into Logos and talk a little bit about the library. Now, when I travel, a lot of times I'm speaking at conferences, and I don't get an hour or 45 minutes to really teach. I get to kind of show people, wow, this is what you can do. But then I get to do some workshops like this, and this is what I really, really enjoy doing, is being able to show people what you can do with a theological library on your computer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to the left corner here, and I'm going to click on the library. And I'm going to actually right-click on it, and I'm going to say float this window so we can see the entire library, and I'm going to expand it so I get the full screen. And I've been using Logos for over 10 years, so I have a lot of books. All right, and you can see up here at the top, and if you're following along at home or here at Coral Ridge, you can see here at the top of your screen, it tells you how many resources you have in your library. I have almost 5,000 theological books in my library. And what I'm able to do with that information is I can search for things faster. But there's some things that I need to do to get to the books, to get to the specific information that I want to faster. And one of the things that you can do here is if you go over to the right and you click on Prioritize, you can pick and choose what books show up when. And all you have to do is you have to take, and let's just take this commentary set by Hodge, and you can drop that in there, and it automatically takes an entire commentary set and makes that a preferred commentary set for you. And one of the beauties of Logos is that anything I'm doing here on my laptop will automatically sync out to my mobile devices. So these preferences that I'm creating here automatically go to my iPhone, my Android tablet, my iPad, my other Windows computers, my Mac, my wife's computer. It syncs this information out to all of the devices that I physically own and use. One of the other areas that you're able to do, and I'm going to close and go back to browse here, and I'm going to click on this little I for information on the screen. What this does, and I'm going to click on a blank area, and we're just going to use Hodge's commentary here on 1 Corinthians as an example. When I click on that blank area, now I can start understanding more about this book. Okay? And when I go down here to the bottom, we give you the ability to be able to star the book, so you can have 1 star all the way up to 5 stars, but you can also add tags to the library. And we're going to just say this demo or we'll call this Liberate, because that's the conference we're at, 2012, for an example. And then what I've just done here is I've added my own personal metadata to my library. I'm able to tag books now and associate them to things that I want to search or group those books together. Now, know when you actually add a tag to a book, it's stagnant. It's tied to that particular book. Now, it does group the tags together, but it's an individual tag to that book. Now, what I'm going to do here is show you something that I've been working on over the last 3 years. And I'm going to click over here, and I just scrolled to the right on my screen. I'm going to click on tags. And what that does is it resorts my list of books. And then when I scroll back to the left, you're going to see all the tags that I've been developing and building over the last 3 years. And I've been time-stamping my books based on centuries, based on when the book was originally written. What type of theology is it? Was it a curriculum? Is it Wesleyan theology, Calvinistic theology? Is it Catholic? Is it early church fathers, foundational work, systematics, different authors, different footsteps? You can see all of this tag, all this metadata that I've created in my own library. Now, one of the things you may be thinking as you're looking at all of this is, oh my goodness, Kendell has absolutely way too much time on his hands. Yeah, I wish, and my wife can attest to that. But no, I've actually just made it a process. When I'm using Logos, I want to make sure that I'm tagging it for future reference. And let me show you how I do that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to close, I'm going to go back to the title, and I'm going to open up a study here. Let's go to 2 Corinthians commentary, because I haven't tagged one. I'm going to open this book up here. And let's just say we're sitting here reading through this, and I got the title page here. We can jump to chapter 1, and we can start scrolling down. But you'll notice here, I have that little information eye again. And when I click on that information eye, it jumps me to that information about that book. So anytime I'm using Logos, I'm using the passage guide. When I say the passage guide, I type in a word, a topic, a phrase, and I can sit here and go out and start studying a passage or something. It's going to go and find information associated to what I'm searching for. And then when I'm really studying, and I'm sitting there and I'm going into information, and I want to add a tag to this, and I'm going to add Liberate 2012, because that's where we're at again, I've just associated these two books together. It's like I've created a handshake between the two of them. And one of the things that I can do, and that's how I, over the years, and I said 3 years when this first feature came out, I had no metadata, I had no tags. But I've just spent time over the years as I'm preparing to teach or preach or just personal study or daily devotions with my wife, I've been building this information, this repository of my own personal information. And then one of the things that you're able to do as you sit there and you tag this library is if I go up here and I click on this magnifying glass, it's going to pull up a search window for me. And I'm just going to drag this over to the sides to keep that book open. And now you see when I click on John Bunyan, I can start scrolling down, and you'll notice what comes up on my screen. All of my tags. So what I'm doing is now I can just search information based off the books that I have in my own personal tag, and then let's just do the word love, or probably should use the word liberate, since we're here at this conference. And now we just did an entire search on those two particular books that have that tag, Liberate 2012. Now I'm able to sit here and just search for the word love in that subset of my library. So I've just taken 5,000 books and slimmed them down to 2 so I can find information. And I can see some of the smiles coming on the faces here, what this can do for your personal study. Let's go back to my library here, and let's go and let's look at my tags again. And so this just gives you an idea of some of the things that you can do. Timestamp, theology types, personal preferences, books you preached out of, all sorts of things that you can come up with, and you can tag your library that you can start interacting with that information and be able to find it. Okay?